Back locked up in them shackles and chains, waiting for the COs to mention my name. Will I get remanded to see my freedom again? But bad decisions got me back in prison. I guess it's part of the game. Heavenly Father, restore my religion and take away all of this pain. Please, Your Honor, would you please let me explain?
So yeah, I wanted to ask, how'd you come into knowledge of 52 blocks and ultimately becoming a master fighter? Explain that.
Well, the 52 blocks came originally from prison. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys mimic from Wing Chun system and from the Filipino arts. Being that the elbow, or the forearm rather, is a shield to the body. That's how the Philippines believe that it's the center of the stick. You have the point, the puntos, which is the points of the sticks, which would be your elbow and your fist. Well, the 52 blocks rest within your wrist and your elbows. And basically what you're doing is you're staying in a triangle at all times. Your arms are staying in a triangle, which that's also from the Wing Chun system. Wing Chun system, you stay in the triangle. Your elbow is overlapping your chest muscle, and so your lats rather, and you're protecting your center line. So the 52 blocks was just more of a hood term for those arts to be combined. So basically, it was invented to be able to understand that once a strike comes to you, you don't have to leave your center line. You can keep your hands close to yourself and actually be able to defend yourself, more so because you're using natural speed other than actual speed, which is what soft arts is based on. And the 52 blocks was basically, if I could tire you out, I can basically do whatever I want. If I can redirect your structure of your body and make it go elsewhere by using soft techniques, which is intercepting fists. Same thing with Bruce Lee, intercepting your center line, intercepting your outside line, which is the safe line. So a lot of guys that was in prison, they seen that you have a lot of people that was claiming boxing back in the 60s and the 70s and so forth, because that was the most popular way of fighting. So a lot of guys, they claimed that they was boxers, because the Filipinos, when the Marines went to go box the Philippines, they came back with broken hands. And the Philippines explained to the other guys that, basically, these Filipinos are dirty boxers because, so that's where the terminology comes, Filipino dirty boxing. So basically, the 52s is utilizing your triangle as a weapon. It's striking the person's fist. At the same time, you're rotating your hands in a striking position, but you're still in a boxing position because you're keeping one fist closed and the other elbow within the other within your line, within your protective line. And then if I take my other hand and I transfer and I tap myself here, that is a form of blocking. If I tap myself on the other side, that's a form of blocking, which this all comes from the Filipino arts. But that same type of tapping is a form of blocking. You take the peekaboo style, they also took from the peekaboo style the Philly shell as well. So these different styles of boxing was basically combined, and the guy that came up with it is pretty genius. If you ask me, I thought it was pretty genius to come up your own perspective of art. And they got a lot of guys that that go through that tree of life of 52 blocks. I had the chance of understanding it because ever since I've been exploring Indonesian and Filipino arts in the Wing Chun system, and I state again that I've never learned from no, Sifu other than, my master in prison, which he doesn't count because he, it's not a school that I came from. I was taught in the system, the martial arts, but my first master was my dad, and he's an Isi Goju-Ryu master. He's actually a black belt in Isi Goju-Ryu. I grew up in the kickboxing and boxing world, but I seen that it wasn't efficient enough for the street. I saw that it was only good for a one-on-one situation, or only good for sporting events. It wasn't. You get a guy that does MMA and you pull out a knife, 9 out of 10 he's gonna run. You know what I mean? So you can't really say that MMA is for the streets, or you can't even say that boxing is for the streets either. Because it's not a combative. If something is not a combative means where I can actually defend myself. If a weapon was to come my way, I know how to respond to different types of weapons. So that's why military combatives has been key in my life, and it's actually saved me from a lot of incidents. And soft arts actually saved me from sending people, to the hospital or having to hurt people. So when I found God, I put the soft arts into play with the way of life of living godly. So basically, the 52s, in a nutshell, it comes from the Filipinos and the Indonesian and different techniques of boxing. That's basically where it comes from.
Debo the Don TV.